qhht session. But before we move forward, I'd like to ask you to please subscribe to my channel and also leave me a comment below this video to let me know what you think of it, if it resonates with you, and do give this video a thumbs up because that really helps me. So thank you so much for doing that. I am going to be reading from a transcript, and in today's video, I'm actually going to be focusing on some questions I had regarding what's going on behind the scenes. So I will not be sharing a lot of names, but I thought some of the stuff was interesting and I wanted to share with you. When I say Carolyn, I'm referring to the hypnotist asking me the questions I prepared. And when I say me, I'm talking about myself under hypnosis, which means that the answers are coming from the 25th. All right. So here for the very first question, I was asking about a old couple of very prominent politicians that are no longer in the public eye right now, or we might see them pop up every now and then, but they've been gone from the public eye, like in a big way for a while. And I wanted to know what had happened to them and what was true about them. So here's what the 25th said. They're not alive anymore. They've been gone. They were reptilians. And yeah, I mean, yeah, they were SATANIC. I cannot say that word. I'm already getting shadow banned. So who knows what word I use. I'm usually careful. They actually had been through the program themselves. So they, you know, it's not fun to be on the side of the dark. There are really no winners there. Everybody who's doing these things has also had these things done to them. In addition to doing these things already is punishment enough for many of them. And this is why I left this in here, because it doesn't really matter about these people. Again, they're gone. Is the fact that they, you know, we think of these people as the elite and like they have these privileged lives, but truly, when you start thinking about what they've gone through to get there or to be in that position, it's not fun. I wouldn't trade my life for any of theirs. I will tell you that. Forget the billions and whatnot. Who cares? Which is not to say that money doesn't solve a lot of issues. I'm not trying to say, oh, who cares about money? Because we see the opposite extreme, right, of people suffering because they absolutely have no money. But I'm saying if you can have, you know, a normal life like I've had, I prefer my normal life. I wouldn't want to be one of them at all. It's just, it's tough. It's tough. We judge them. They do things for sure. I mean, it's undeniable. They've done things that are horrible, but they've also had horrible things done to them. And I know this. I've known this for a while. So Carolyn, will his government collapse? Oh, and this, they're talking about, okay, so that's basically what we have, and I have to be careful with this word too. My goodness, it's like we're in a minefield these days with the English language. But basically, I was asking about you know, what's happening in the last system where people in a democracy vote for their officials. And so I was asking about what's happening with this government, which is really not legit. But again, it's always been my opinion that none of the governments who are legit, because why wouldn't you use it? It's so easy to change the results of these things, so why wouldn't you do it? And so I was asking, will his government, the current government of this person that we're told is in charge, be exposed for fraud and before we leave? Me. It will not be. So people will not, we do not have time for that. And now the government has already been undermined. If you notice, we're supposed to be done with this thing, the fraud, with the judgment of the fraud, but we don't even hear about that anymore. Basically, what's been decided is that a lot of this stuff will be too dramatic, too traumatic for a lot of people. So a lot of this is not going to come through. The 3D people have almost completely left. And I'm recording this on April 29th. The truth is, all 3D people have left by, by now, by April 29th. I had done this transcript is from the 11th of April. So by now, again, on the 29th of April, they've all left. I reconfirmed this yesterday with them. And it's actually really cool that two people in the comments of my last video about this, they also used their pendulum, and those people had confirmation that they had left. The 3D people have all left. In fact, if you see, we're expecting a lot of more lightness, and if you see, a lot of things are changing quickly out there because of this. The 3D people have almost completely left. I'm hearing like 80% now. And so once they're gone, all the stuff will not even be of interest anymore. Carolyn, has Hollywood been cleaned out? Me, yes. Carolyn, and have all perpetrators of and users of, I can't say this word, it's basically that substance that's taken from being processed? Me, everything has been stopped. And yeah, there is no more Hollywood. What we are seeing, a lot of actors, they believe that things are still going on. For example, that people are on vacation or whatever, but no, there's just no more Hollywood. What we are seeing are things that were already planned, or people that were on the fringes, that were doing certain things, because there were good people too there. There are people who just wanted to be actors, have this experience, or directors, whatever it is. But the bulk of it, what we consider Hollywood, has been cleared out. There's no more. And while it makes me so happy that they said that Hollywood has been cleared out, because not only they were doing what they were doing, but they were also trying to make it look like we were supposed to aspire to be them. And you know, if you know any normal people, you know, this is what happens. We think, oh my God, that person is so cool. I've had people that I've liked, actors that I've liked, and then I found out that they were no good. So this is normal, right? But the best part of this answer is when they said everything has been stopped. Because if you recall, several videos ago, I did a video where we asked about this, what the status was. And they said that it was still going on. It was less, but it was still going on. And now they're saying it's all been stopped. This makes me so happy, guys. You don't even know. I'm just so excited about this. Carolyn, I'm going to read this question. It just doesn't sound right. And here's the question. So is Mother Teresa, and they were laughing. She was laughing. And they interrupted her because, of course, I know the question. So I'll explain the question to you. So I was asking if Mother Teresa, I've read that she was a man, and actually she is, or she was, father. And I thought, that's interesting. I mean, she wasn't very good looking, so, but hey. So, and I don't know, I don't have any, I mean, I'm not one way or the other about her. So I wasn't one of those that thought, oh, she was, because I always know that what we read is not really what it is. But I didn't know anything specific about her. So I wanted to ask this question. So they interrupted her because she was laughing when she goes, so it's Mother Teresa, like she was scared of asking me. So they were laughing. They said, yeah, she was a man. And yeah, Carolyn, what? And was she me? Yeah, she was one of the worst, actually. That's why she set up the whole thing over there. So I'm sorry if this is like disappointing some of you. It's tough when we have these icons, you know, what's been offered to us as being icons of humanity, you know, crumble like this in front of our eyes. Carolyn, this is so sad for this human to know. That's really sad. Me. Yeah, there's been a lot of stuff that's been on this planet, and a lot of things have been made to look a certain way, but really, very simply, they were just very lowly. You know, they weren't nearly as factual as we wish them to be. Carolyn, I really have senioritis. I'm just going to let you know. You said that Big Pharma is already bankrupt, but they seem to be doing quite well on the surface. Is this not going to be apparent before we move on? Me. No, they're sweating it. Yeah, no, they're not going to go bankrupt as in they file bankruptcy. They're actually maintaining that. And even the white hats are maintaining the situation because, again, it would be traumatic for a lot of people. But yeah, they're sweating it. They're not doing nearly as well. We think, oh, they just made trillions, you know, billions and billions. So who knows how many billions with these things. The truth is they haven't kept any of them. Even the shareholders have abandoned ship and whatnot. This is not making any difference. Just like it won't make any difference. We already told Clea about the reevaluations that have already happened. And a lot of us are already multimillionaires, but not really, because we're not going to have time to exchange the currency. So a lot of these games are done now that relate to money that are completely irrelevant. Carolyn, will the masses even learn about SATANIC? So again, SATANIC, and this is my kitty trying to send good vibes since we're talking about these things. Being widespread in society at some point. Me. Yeah, in the future, in what they consider to be the future, they will. When it's far enough to where, you know, just like we've learned about the Spanish Inquisition, that was ugly. Carolyn. So this will be in their history books. However, they teach history. Me. Yes, they will know about this because they have to know not to repeat it. And yeah, absolutely. And they won't. The vibration will be completely different, but it's all, you know, it's all experience. Carolyn. So is there any truth to the fact that the dark was using the earth to create LOOSH? Me. No. So yes and no. We've explained before that reptilians need food just like we do. So a lot of channelers, for example, like to say that they live on LOOSH. That's why they have to create it. It's not true. They don't live on LOOSH. They're not high dimensional enough not to require food. Just like we're not high dimensional enough to not require food. That's why we set it up here to where we do require food to survive. But LOOSH, basically, the idea is that the dark wanted to keep the vibration low. So then it became low to where it was, it became lower to where it was, oh, because that's what they feed on. That's what they nourish with. No, they feed themselves on food, you know, sometimes things they shouldn't be eating. But yeah, so no, this is another one of those stories, scare stories that filter through, you know, into the collective, which is the fact that this is a prison planet, or it was created to, it's almost like it's all bad, it's all dark. And it was created, it's just a place with so much trauma, so much pain. It was supposed to basically, it's just awful here. And it isn't. Many of us know we've had amazing experiences here already, even in this lifetime. It's not always a good time. It's not always a party. I understand that. Claire's definitely had ups and downs, but again, it's not awful here. Is it a prison planet? Is that how we're experiencing it? I mean, maybe in the last 2 years, that could be argued, but generally speaking, a lot of us have had fairly free lives. And I absolutely agree with this. But this was an important, I'm glad that I asked this question because it was actually relates to, I know at least one of you has made a comment about this, and it does call this planet a prison planet. And I know that she's not the only person. I mean, there are many who think this is a prison planet. So I'm glad they said that. Carolyn, I agree with that. I think as a whole, your life is what you make of it. Are nuclear stations meant to hide dumps and other dark team operations? Me. Some of them, yes. And of course, nuclear stations are dark operations. So yeah. And DOMs, in case you don't know, they're the deep underground military bases. Is basically where there have been a lot of experiments and very dark things being done. And they're everywhere, apparently. They're littering the entire planet. Carolyn, what was the reason for me? So the reason was, of course, you know, the obvious reasons, like they wanted to pass more coercive measures and, you know, do more of the same they always do. They're always all about dominating and manipulating. But also they were they were trying to do something with energy. They were trying to, again, focus. They were putting out an idea. So they were focusing the attention of the world, whoever paid attention to them, to create this entire reality that we've seen later, which is this terrorism idea that doesn't even exist. It's just an idea. And so it worked in that sense. They came up with this idea and it worked. Carolyn, it did work. They tried to make it really real. Was it a way to pass darker rules, or was there more? Me. Yeah, so the more was that they actually wanted not only to pass darker rules right there and then, but they wanted to create more of the same. There have been many events we've allowed them to happen because we believe in them. So we've had many events of terrorism in that sense, but terrorism is just an idea, right? It's not really real. Carolyn, are black and white magic real? Me. Ah, laughing. We want to say no, but it's really yes and no. Depends on what you mean. When we have said, when we go to New Earth, it's gonna be like, we're gonna be magic. So does magic exist? No. What are these people doing? What are the people doing magic doing? What they're doing is they're using their thought, their creative power to create a situation. So no, it doesn't. It's not real in the sense that it is real like this planet. We like to think this planet is real. These walls are real. This bed is real. You have to believe in it. And if you believe in it, I mean, it's an idea. There are people who don't believe in magic, and therefore, guess what? They are not subject to magic. So no, it's not real in that sense. It's just an idea. Carolyn, can an essence affect the experience of another essence by sending it negative energy, either consciously, like we would do, for example, or unconsciously, as when we worry about the worst happening with someone? Me. Yeah, so this is something that we have to learn, that our expectation or intention is all powerful. And therefore, when we put our expectation on something, we're affecting the reality of it. We create our own reality around us. And so, yes, you can. If I cannot change your experience. If your essence is chosen to be healthy your entire life, I cannot change your experience. But if your essence is open to wanting to feel that this is real, and therefore maybe running into something that's not as pleasant, but for the essence, it reaches its purpose, so that's perfectly acceptable. And I wish for something bad to happen to you, say for you to have an accident, of course you have to agree to it, okay? That's the whole point. Your essence has to agree to it. Yes, I could basically provide the means for you to have that experience. Carolyn, but your essence has to agree to it? Me. Well, your essence has to agree to it, of course. You have to believe in it, right? For example, if you don't believe in voodoo or whatever, it's never going to affect you. They can do the pins all day long. They're just going to get bleeding fingers at some point because nothing is going to happen. Yeah, you have to believe it. You have to be in that idea, in that context. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.